leadership of Justice LTC Iruba has halted the enforcement of the suspension of the former Senate President and Chairman of the Board of Trustees of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Adolphus Wabara. Justice Iruba issued an order restraining the Abia PDP the PDP leadership, led by Elder Abraham Ama, from carrying out the suspension. The legal action follows a suit filed by Wabara, who sought an injunction to prevent the enforcement of the suspension. A few weeks ago, Elder Ama announced Wabara's suspension, accusing him of anti-party activities after Wabara publicly praised Governor Alex Oti's efforts in the reconstruction of Port Harcourt Road in Aba. The National Working Committee of the PDP quickly intervened, declaring the suspension null and void, stating it violated the party's constitution. The Apex Igbo social-cultural organization Ohanaeze Ndigbo has denied claims that it called on the Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly, Martin Amawale, to initiate impeachment proceedings against Governor Siminalayi Fubara of Rivers State. In a statement released on Saturday, the organization clarified that it had no position in the ongoing political crisis in the state and that the report did not come from Ohanaeze Ndigbo. This denial follows a statement from a faction of the group, which had urged Speaker Amawale to begin the impeachment process against Governor Fubara after the Supreme Court reinstated the pro-Nyesom Wike lawmakers, including Amawale, on Friday. The factional statement was signed by Deputy President General Okechukwu Izugozuru and National Publicity Secretary Chief Chineyeze Ohia. However, Ohanaeze Ndigbo's National Publicity Secretary, Dr. Ezichi Chukwu, speaking to journalists, dismissed the impeachment claim, emphasizing that it did not represent the organization's stance. And now to security matters. The abducted national president of the Afenifere Youth Council, Eniola Ojajinu, has been released after 12 days in the kidnappers' den. The National Secretary of the Youth Council, Biodun Aderomu, confirmed his release on Sunday. Olajuni was abducted on Friday, February 17, 2025, on his way to Abuja for a meeting. The kidnappers had demanded 100 million naira and 2 tricycles as ransom for his release. The Inspector General of Police, Kaide Gbetokun, had ordered the deployment of the intelligence response team to secure the safe release of the Afenifere youth leader after a video went viral where he was at gunpoint pleading for Nigerians to come to his aid and raise funds for his release. In the meantime, the coalition of Yoruba youth leaders has called on the federal government and security agencies to step up efforts in protecting Nigerians following the recent abduction and subsequent release of Afenifere Youth Council President Prince Eniola Ojajuni. Expressing concern over the rising wave of kidnappers across the country, the coalition stressed that increased security measures would prevent Nigerians from enduring similar trauma to what Ojajuni had experienced. A statement issued by the National Secretary of the coalition, Akim Adeleke, following Ojajuni's release, emphasized the importance of vigilance and safety for all citizens. Adeleke also confirmed that the Afenifere youth leader was receiving urgent medical care. He commended Ojajuni's resilience, calling it a statement to the unshakable spirit of the Yoruba people in the face of adversity. Still on security matters, the Jigawa State Police Command has arrested 3 suspects in connection with a criminal conspiracy and culpable homicide case. According to a statement by the command's spokesperson, SP Shisu Adam, the suspects were apprehended on February 8, 2025 in Ilale Town, Sokoto State. The suspects, identified as Malam Adamu Aliyu, who is 30 years old, Malam Mukhtar Abdul Monem, who is 37, and Malam Nafiu Ibrahim, who is 80, are from Haideja, Ayo, and Miga local government areas, respectively. They allegedly conspired to defraud 19-year-old Ahmed Abdullahi of 400,000 naira After Ahmed demanded his money, the suspects lured him to a riverside in Hadeja town, where they strangled him and dumped his body in the river. Following their flight to the Niger Republic, the suspects were tracked down and returned to Jigawa State. The SP, Shisu Adam, confirmed that the case has been charged to court and assured that justice will be served. Away from that, a magistrate court in Lokoja, Kogi State has granted the demand of the prosecution in the cyber-stalking and criminal defamation case against a chieftain of the People's Democratic Party, Austin Okai, to enable the Department of State Services, DSS, to conclude their investigations into the allegations. The decision of the DSS to seek for the remand in prison custody was to ensure compliance with the law by not keeping the accused beyond 48 hours in custody without the lawful permission of the court, in line with the criminal justice system of Nigeria. Okai is facing trial for his allegation on social media that the Kogi State Governor, Usman Ododo, allegedly stole billions of naira meant for the local government councils in the state, as well as some agencies under the state government. Earlier, Kogi State Governor for Information and Communications, Kingsley Fanwo, gave us more insights into this. Take a look.
We are challenging him on two grounds. The first one is cyber stalking. That is the use of internet to cause reputational harm to the other person. And that is contained in the Cybercrime Act of 2015, Section 24. And the other thing we are challenging him for is the issue of criminal defamation, which is in Section 233 to 235 of the Criminal Code Act. So these are the grounds that we are challenging. If you just make allegations that the government diverted over 16 billion naira, then you should have proofs to be able to justify your allegations. Making those allegations would definitely not be enough. He has to have his date in court to prove those allegations that we all know are false.
In a related development, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Oduaga has urged Unoma Akpabio, the wife of Senate President Godswill Akpabio, to stay out of the allegations of sexual harassment and intimidation against her husband. The dispute has escalated after Akpoti-Oduaga accused Akpabio of blocking her motions and intimidating her following her refusal of his alleged advances. Mrs. Akpabio has dismissed the claim, stating that both families have maintained a cordial relationship for years. In a letter dated March 1st, 2025, Akpoti-Oduaga has insisted that the allegations are personal to Akpabio and that he should defend himself. She has also claimed to have concrete evidence supporting her accusations. The senator has reaffirmed her commitment to defending Nigerian women while urging Mrs. Akpabio to protect her family's integrity by staying out of the matter. And now to the energy sector. Nigerians may soon face severe fuel scarcity as long queues return to filling stations across major cities. The Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria has issued a 7-day ultimatum to the government demanding urgent action on fuel supply issues or risk a nationwide shutdown of distribution. News Central Bettina Nweli reports.
Are hitting Lagos and other parts of Nigeria, with tanker drivers halting fuel loading over alleged harassment by government officials. In a strongly worded statement, Ipman blamed the crisis on supply disruptions, rising transportation costs, and alleged hoarding by private depot owners.
If you have issues as regards the truck operation, we believe should be informed, and necessary time should be given to us. If there is any vehicle that's idle or whatever, necessary hours should be given for it to clear. You see, because we operate under strenuous environment, meaning that sometimes you come and you be killed, or you can have puncture, you can have, because of the heat, overheating. Naturally, every transport operation has its own issues.
While the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has downplayed the crisis, citing logistical issues and panic buying, Ipman warns that without swift government intervention, a nationwide shutdown is imminent.
Hopefully by next week, we'll also come back here to be able to, inform the public whether this money has been paid or whether a total amount of money that was supposed to be paid. But marketers vehemently, I want to repeat myself, that marketers vehemently has complained that this money is long overdue.
Many Nigerians remain skeptical as fuel shortages have become a recurring challenge despite the country's status as a major oil producer. Analysts caution that if the situation is not resolved swiftly, it could drive up inflation and cripple businesses already struggling in a tough economic climate. With Ipman's deadline fast approaching, all eyes are on the government and oil marketers to prevent a full-blown crisis. In Lagos, for News Central, I am Bettina Unwili.
You're watching News Now on News Central Television. Let's go on a short break, but when we return, over 20,000 stranded Nigerians repatriated under IOM program. We have the details just after the break. Join us again. And you're welcome back. The Sarki Sessa Haruna Mai Yasin Katsina has passed away at the age of 125. He died on Saturday evening at his residence in the Sassa community located in the Akinyele local government area of Oyo State. In response to the passing of the revered traditional ruler, senators representing Oyo Central and Oyo South senatorial districts, Eunice Akintunde and Sharafadin Ali, have extended their condolences. In separate statements issued on Sunday in Ibadan, both lawmakers mourned the loss of the Sarkin Sessa Akintunde through his special assistant on media and publicity, Kunle Olatunji, praised the late Mayansin as a staunch advocate for good governance and democracy. Senator Ali also expressed deep sorrow and extended heartfelt condolences to the family, the Arewa community, and the people of Sassa. Until his death, the late Sarki Sessa served as the chairman of the Council of Arewa Traditional Rulers in the 17 southern states of Nigeria. Let's also tell you that President Bola Tinubu has paid tribute to the late founding president of the Republic of Namibia, Sam Nujoma, describing him as a warrior who galvanized Nigeria and other African nations to fight for his country's freedom. Nujoma was a revered figure who led his country to gain independence, steering the nation on the path towards democracy and stability. Speaking on Saturday during a state burial for the late Namibian leader held in Windhoek, Namibia, President Tinubu, who was represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, said that Nuyoma's demise is not an exit from space and time, but the wake of his immortality in the minds of Africans. No fewer than 20,197 Nigerians who were stranded in various countries have voluntarily returned to their homeland. This repatriation was facilitated through the International Organization for Migration's IOM-assisted Voluntary Return and Reintegration program, with support from the Federal Government and Nigerian missions abroad. According to data from the IOM, women and girls make up nearly 88% of the returnees, while men represent 13%. The majority of returnees are between the ages of 18 and 39, with the 18 to 25 age group being particularly vulnerable to trafficking. Disturbingly, many returnees reported being trafficked by friends or acquaintances, with 46.6% of female and 53.2% of male victims falling prey to traffickers. University Don and Professor of Arabic language Daoud has tasked fellow Muslim faithfuls in Nigeria to leverage the benefits of the holy month of Ramadan. Speaking with News Central Television crew in the Kano state capital, Professor Daoud says that he is confident that with prayers in the holy month of Ramadan, Nigeria can get over its current economic challenges as well. News Central's Emmanuel Bagudu reports.
It's Ramadan, and here in Kano, activities to mark the holy month have kick-started. The Kano state government received a delegation from Saudi Arabia who donated dates for the less privileged to enable them observe the holy month. Professor of Arabic Studies from the Bayero University, Kano, took time to highlight the benefits of the holy month.
In the month of Ramadan, we have a great night, the night of Laylatul Qadr, which is, if you are opportune to rise during the night, pray, your prayer will be accepted, and indeed you will win great bless of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The reminder, more importantly, as said by one scholar, Muhammad al-Ghazali, in his book, Ruh al-Din al-Islami, Khulq al-Muslim, the good conduct of a Muslim, that our prayer, our Hajj, our sadaqat we give, the secret hidden in all these worships are not only just to a physical exercise. No, it is to train us to mold our character.
Some other stakeholders say prayers can move mountains, thus its importance to fixing the nation's economic challenges.
Taking a look at the situation of fasting, you must insist that first you serve God. Number two, you become very sympathetic and considerate to people below you and even to people by your side.
The Ramadan prayers will continue for the next 30 days, and as the custom is, Muslim faithful will fully participate in the activities marking the holy month. In Kano for News Central, I am Emmanuel Bagudu.
Away from that, rights activists in Nigeria say that the nation's civic space is shrinking, with journalists facing arrest and detentions and activists disappearing without a trace. At this high-level stakeholder policy dialogue in Abuja, experts review events within the nation's civic space, warning that insecurity is no longer just about violence in communities, but the attitude of government towards free speech, press freedom, and democratic accountability. Our correspondent Idong Joseph has more.
In recent years, rising insecurity has significantly impacted Nigeria's civic space, restricting citizens' abilities to express themselves and hold the government accountable. Activists argue that state-controlled narratives have further limited free speech, making it harder for citizens to express themselves.
Digital rights are also human rights. It is not only when people are harassed, attacked, or sent out by guns that their rights have been, impacted. Some of the things you will remember is what happens during election. One of our, as a matter of fact, I would say the leading light of investigative journalism in Nigeria, Premium Time, is currently facing a digital attack.
The government will always talk about national security, which is important, because the Constitution made it very explicit that the primary responsibility of any government is to protect lives and what? Properties. If the same life and property that the government is supposed to protect, they are using that as a tool, or possibly as maybe like the reason why they're going to be repressing the same people that are protecting the life and properties. So there's a need for a balance.
While national security remains a priority, activists warn that democracy without free civic engagement is at risk of collapse. They call for human-centered security policies, ensuring that protecting lives does not come at the cost of silencing voices.
I'm wondering if we still have a future for our children. I'm going to just encourage us all to seize the opportunity, not just to analyze challenges, but to formulate actionable solutions that reinforce our democratic foundations.
I would say that it requires the convening of multi-stakeholders, diverse stakeholders from different sectors, to actually not just have a conversation around the issues, but to explore different strategies through which these issues can be addressed.
Meanwhile, They stress that the situation is even worse at grassroots, where many communities lack platforms to voice their concerns. They urge policymakers to ensure security measures do not stifle civic participation, allowing all citizens a voice in governance. In Abuja for News Central, Idong Joseph.
And now to health matters. Glaucoma, a silent but deadly eye disease that affects millions worldwide, remains one of the leading causes of irreversible blindness. Yet many Nigerians are unaware that they have it until it's too late. In this report, Oluwakemi Alimi takes a closer look at these silent thieves of sight, demystifying the myths and sharing how you can protect your vision. Her report.
Millions of people wake up to a world of darkness, bewildered by the silence of sight. For some, the sudden loss of vision is a mysterious affliction, often misattributed to mystical forces or spiritual attacks. But the truth lies in the shadows of a stealthy adversary, glaucoma, a silent thief of sight, creeping in unnoticed, leaving devastation in its wake. According to the International Agency for the Prevention of Blindness 2020, glaucoma is the leading cause of irreversible blindness globally, accounting for approximately 12% of all blindness cases. The African Journal of Ophthalmology 2018 also records that glaucoma affects approximately 6.4 million people in Africa, with Nigeria having the highest prevalence.
Glaucoma is a disease entity that affects the eye. It's a disease that causes progressive damage to the optic nerve head. That's the nerve that connects the eyeball to the brain. So it causes damage at the point at which this optic nerve head leaves the eyeball to transmit visual information to the brain.
For some, the reality of glaucoma hits unexpectedly, as they are not mindful of mild signs such as headaches, occasional blurry vision, and even requiring a lot of light to read.
Incidentally, one of the doctors that I saw noticed that something was wrong with my vision, which I had not even paid attention to. At a point in time, I found that I needed more light to see things, either to read my Bible or read books or read something from the phone.
So, what causes glaucoma and who's at risk? Glaucoma's development is influenced by several factors including age, family history, ethnicity, certain medical conditions like diabetes and hypertension, and previous eye injuries or surgeries. Treatment options focus on reducing intraocular pressure and may involve medicated eye drops, laser therapy, surgical procedures, or a combination of these approaches. Apparently, people have limited or inaccurate knowledge about glaucoma, with some confusing it with other eye diseases or admitting to knowing little about the condition, highlighting the need for greater awareness and education.
I think I have an idea what it is. Maybe straining the eyes or the pressure of the eyes.
The one I know about is the normal ones, like people don't see things far away and they don't see things close by, which I also suffer that. But the one you just said now, no, I'm not.
I think it's a high defect that if you don't take care of it, it might lead to blindness. Probably you have to go to an eye clinic, check up, do some tests.
Glaucoma is a disease entity that we usually, want people to know that early detection is very important, so that vision is not completely lost.
Experts recommend annual eye checkups for early detection. A simple test can save your sight. So if you haven't had an eye exam in the last year, now is the time. Don't wait until it's too late. In Lagos, for News Central, I am Oluwakemi Alimi.
Nigerian youths have been tasked to embrace agriculture using technology to improve productivity so as to guarantee food security for the nation. This was during the launch of the Youth in Technology Challenge, expected to attract youths into agriculture and reward those who have distinguished themselves through the use of technology. Amadin Uyi reports.
Nigeria has a large youth population, with more than half of them under the age of 24. Data available says that 70% of youths in the country are under 30 years old, while 42% are under 15. With this large resource, many believe that these youths, if properly channeled into agriculture, can contribute to the nation. They, however, believe that the application of technology in the sector can make an immense difference.
In Nigeria, where agriculture plays a vital role in the economy and livelihoods, we need to leverage technology to enhance productivity, improve efficiency, and create a more resilient, sustainable agriculture sector.
At this event with agricultural stakeholders and Nigeria's Ministry of Youth Development, where Youth Nigeria Challenge 2025 initiative was launched, the objective is to empower agri-tech innovators and transform Nigeria's agricultural landscape.
It is essentially to ensure that youth of today take hold of agriculture that they want tomorrow, and that also provides them opportunity of becoming entrepreneurs and over time also generating employment for other youth.
The Ministry of Youth Development says it is rallying youth for its One Local Government, One Product initiative to ensure that they effectively participate in agriculture.
We want to have youth in different 774 local governments, that in every local government we have one agricultural produce that is coming up, that will be produced from that local government.
The challenge identifies and supports technology-driven solutions that address pressing challenges in Nigeria's agriculture sector. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadin Uyi.
The Center for Youth Participation Advocacy Africa, CIPA, has called for the incorporation of youth not just in Nigeria but across the African continent for their voice to be heard in governance. At a press conference in Jos, Plateau State, CIPA Africa says a good number of youth have a lot to offer in governance, but constant relegation of this critical group has continued to have its adverse effect in the polity. News Central's Chizoba Anyonwe reports that CIPA Africa also says it is working towards ensuring innovative ways of mentoring the younger generation while reiterating the essence of youth empowerment and capacity building, among others.
This report into the public space with all of the impacts that we have been able to make in the course of 2024, and also projecting the directions we would like to go in 2025. Elections at the local government have been truncated for a very long time. So it's a shining light that we have returned to routine elections, hopefully, at the local government level, which is closer to the people.
So there's mentorship being streamed in. There's also helping them to shape their own lives for the better, so that the future will be brighter for them than what it is now.
We are committed to our mission and committed to innovating the way we are doing, carrying out our objective, and we'll continue to do our part in making sure that the voice of the young people are heard.
Away from that, to encourage skilled persons living with disabilities economically in Abia State, the wife of the governor, Priscilla Oti, has donated solar energy kits to select members of persons. The beneficiaries, on their part, say the kits will spur them to become more productive. News Central Chinwe Ugeli has more.
Most of them are into small and medium enterprises and require a little support to be economically stable.
I strongly believe that in a world where innovation drives progress, it is essential that our society is inclusive, ensuring that everyone, regardless of their physical abilities, has equal access to the resources and opportunities that foster entrepreneurial success.
The beneficiaries are carefully selected from different parts of the state bearing in mind those whose businesses will thrive more with improved power supply.
Access to solar power energy also ensures that businesses are able to optimize their businesses, especially at a time such as this, when cost of doing business is very high.
Wife of Abia State Governor Priscilla Oti says her office, in collaboration with the Office of the Wife of the President, are uplifting the lives of the physically challenged.
We gather to brighten the lives of this special group of individuals. And we are indeed here to promote the economic advancement of persons living with challenges.
Special Assistant to Governor Alex Oti on industry, small and medium enterprises wants the persons living with disabilities to leverage the opportunities available.
Collecting the solar panel, solar energy is not all enough. Most don't have any business doing. So what the governor is doing is trying to make sure that every one of us have something to do.
The wife of the governor discloses intentions to reach out to more persons who need the facility.
Of course, we decided to start with these most vulnerable groups, people living with disability. Yes.
Some of the beneficiaries share how they feel the kits will boost their output.
I'll be using it to charge my phone. I'm charging other people. I'm collecting money. I'll be making money. Little bit. So other things, and I'll put the lights inside my shop. I'm using it to see when there is no lights.
But I do use filing machine for my work. Sometimes I will disappoint some of my customers because of lack of lights.
This kind of gesture, aside the economic empowerment, aims to address power shortage and enhance access to clean and reliable energy in Abia State. In Omaha for News Central, Chinwe Ugele.
You're watching News Now on News Central Television. Coming up, UN mission prepares to oversee ceasefire compliance in DR Congo. We have the details just after this break. Stay with us. The United Nations Organization of Civilization mission in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, MONUSCO, is preparing to supervise compliance with a ceasefire in the region. This was revealed by Jean-Pierre Lacroix, the UN Under-Secretary General for Peace Operations, during a visit to Beni in the eastern part of the country. Lacroix confirmed that MONUSCO is actively engaging at the diplomatic level to restore its ability to operate in the M23 controlled zone where tensions remain high. He emphasized the mission's readiness to monitor and ensure adherence to the ceasefire as part of ongoing efforts to stabilize the region.
J'avais dit au président de la République, à la Première ministre, je l'ai redit ici à monsieur le gouverneur, la MONUSCO se prépare activement à jouer un rôle pour la supervision du respect du cessez-le-feu, sachant qu'évidemment le cessez-le-feu, lorsqu'il se matérialisera, ça nécessitera l'engagement des parties concernées. La logique d'une opération de maintien de la paix, c'est d'être déployé dans un contexte où il y a un minimum d'accord entre les parties au conflit, soit un cessez-le-feu, soit un accord plus vaste. Et là, vous le savez bien, c'est un conflit interétatique qui ne dit pas son nom, avec la mise en œuvre par les protagonistes, à la fois le M23, mais aussi l'armée rwandaise, de moyens militaires très substantiels. Ensuite, nous travaillons activement au niveau diplomatique pour faire retrouver, dans toute la mesure du possible, à MONUSCO sa capacité d'agir dans la zone M23, occupée par le M23, faire appliquer cette résolution dont j'ai parlé et qui porte notamment sur la cessation des hostilités, le retrait des forces armées du Rwanda. Et puis j'ai mentionné aussi, je l'ai dit, il y a une unanimité du Conseil de sécurité, une unanimité de la communauté internationale, puisque cette résolution elle représente la voix de la communauté internationale et elle est votée à l'unanimité, ce qui est rare parce que nos États membres sont divisés sur la plupart des crises. C'est un atout aussi sur lequel il faut capitaliser en travaillant ensemble.
The highly anticipated trial of several prominent Tunisian opposition figures accused of plotting against state security is set to begin on Tuesday. The case involves around 40 high-profile defendants, including former diplomats, politicians, lawyers, and media figures, many of whom have been vocal critics of President Kais Saied. Rights groups and critics have condemned the trial, calling it unfair and politically motivated. The accused were detained following a series of arrests in February 2023 after Saied labeled them terrorists. They face charges of plotting against state security and belonging to a terrorist group with the possibility of severe sentences. Among the defendants are politician Jahar Barak, a former Amnad party figure, and that's Abdulhamid Jalassi, as well as Issam Chima, who is the founder of the opposition National Salvation Front coalition, all of whom are staunch critics of Saied. Israel's Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar has stated that Israel will not accept a ceasefire until hostages are released. Speaking at a press conference in Jerusalem alongside his Croatian counterpart Gordon Redman, Sa'ar emphasized that securing the release of hostages remains a critical condition for any potential ceasefire agreement.
Are you going to give this ceasefire for free without hostages to be released? This is something we will not accept. So yes, we are ready to negotiate on the second phase according to our principles. We also agreed to the American proposal to a longer framework of further 50 days during the Ramadan and the Passover, but in this framework, according to the American proposal, a release of hostages.
And now for some business update.
The Nigerian Exchange Group has reported its 2024 full-year results, showing a 157.68% surge in pre-tax profits to 13.581 billion naira compared to 5.272 billion naira in 2023. According to the company's annual report and audited consolidated financial statements for the year ended December 31, 2024, gross earnings more than doubled to 23.99 billion naira. In recognition of this exceptional performance, the board of directors has approved a final dividend of 4.4 billion naira, translating to 2 naira per share, the highest dividend payout in the group's history. According to the company's press release, the strong growth in total income was driven by significant increases across key revenue streams like transportation and listing fees, treasury and technology-related income, including market data revenue. Nigerians in the diaspora have remitted over $90 billion in the last 5 years to support national development. The chairman, CEO of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, Honorable Abike Dabire-Rewa, stated this at a workshop organized by the Nigerian Institute of Social and Economic Research in collaboration with NIDCOM, held in Abuja. The workshop was themed a 6-continent survey of Nigerian professionals in diaspora, policy measures for harnessing contributions to national development, and it explored the role of Nigerians abroad in shaping the country's economy. Dabire-Rewa emphasized the importance of gathering accurate data to better understand the contributions, challenges, and opportunities within the Nigerian professional diaspora. The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, and the European Union have jointly launched a project aimed at enhancing regional integration and facilitating the free movement of people and goods within the ECOWAS sub-region. Named the second phase of the Free Movement of Persons and Migration in West Africa, the project is designed to improve migration governance and foster economic integration across West Africa. The initiative is part of a broader effort by the ECOWAS Commission to use migration as a tool to promote economic growth, security, and social cohesion within the region. Funded by the European Union, the project will be executed by a consortium of key migration organizations, including the International Organization for Migration, the International Labour Organization, and the International Center for Migration Policy Development. In the safety of Sudan's eastern coast, residents preparing for Ramadan were struggling to afford basic holiday staples as the war raging elsewhere in the country has sent prices soaring. The situation was much more dire in areas hit directly by the nearly 2-year war, where famine, displacement, severe shortages, and looting overshadowed the usual spirit of generosity of the holy Muslim month that began on Saturday. At a market in Port Sudan, a relative safe haven in the east, prices are out of reach for many families, and labor unions say the average monthly pay is around $60, but public workers in some Sudanese states have gone without pay during the war. Those who did have had to grapple with the plummeting value of the local currency, down from about £600 to the US dollar to £2,400 on the parallel market, and inflation that hit 145% in January, according to official figures. And that's all on business news. I am Lekon Onobanjo.
And Ethiopian runners dominated the 2025 ECOWAS Abuja International Marathon Half Marathon, while Nigerians excelled in the 5-kilometer race. Harrison Muchari Wanjiri of Kenya triumphed in the men's half marathon, finishing in 1 hour 4 minutes 39 seconds, with fellow Kenyan Adam Suleiman Mohammed securing second place. Ethiopian runner Lydia Natiyaka Wamalawa led the women's lead race, by the way, crossing the finish line in 1 hour 15.3 minutes, followed by Abirash Minshawa. Nigerian athletes shone in the 5-kilometer race, by the way, claiming most of the prizes for ECOWAS citizens. Over 5,000 runners participated, competing for a total prize pool of $71,000. The marathon, celebrating ECOWAS at 50, featured Africa's most lucrative half marathon prize of $10,000 for each top finisher. And I cannot run at 100 meters, but Dakar, Senegal will make history in 2026 as the first African city to host an Olympic, sporting event. The Youth Olympic Games YOG, that's YOG, is scheduled from October 31st. The Games will bring together 2,700 young athletes from around the world for 2 weeks for competition across Dakar, Diamniadio, and Sali. With the motto, Africa Welcomes, Dakar Celebrates, the event aims to inspire youth across the continent and serve as a model for future event hosts. The Games will feature 25 sports in competition and an engagement program promoting 10 additional sports, with 151 events, including full gender equality across all disciplines. Dakar 2026 promises to be a landmark event in Olympic history and African sports development. And that's all we can take at this hour. But before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories. Court suspends enforcement of Wabara's suspension as PDP Board of Trustees chairman. And over 20,000 stranded Nigerians voluntarily return home. And lastly, we told you that Tunisia is set to begin trial of high-profile opposition figures. As always, you can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, on Star Times channel 274. Find us on Apple TV and stream us live on YouTube. And we might be coming close to you pretty soon. Find out about that. But until then, thanks for watching. I am Judith at TV.